Hey friends, before we start the video, I wanted to let you know this whole thing almost got rained out. I had a lot of moisture in the air. I was trying to keep my set dry. I ended up getting hunkered under a tree up in the rocks, and everything went off script. And I felt rushed the whole time. So anyway, sorry about a few of the camera angles are pretty bad, but in the end, I learned a lot. I hope you learned from it. And I hope you enjoy the video. Good morning, friends. Welcome back to West Fork. Walked up the creek a little ways this morning. I don't have any gear with me at all, except one little knife. And it's a Columbia River knife and tool minimalist. And going to see what we can do with this. This isn't going to be a normal review. I'm just going to put this thing to work, and we're going to see if it can handle the task. I will say the minimalist is a cute little bugger. It fits right in the palm of your hand. It hangs on the neck, and it includes this little lanyard on the back, which kind of extends the handle in a way. This is called the Minimalist Bowie. And it's pretty stout little knife. Today we're going to try to make a bow drill fire and see if this little tool will build everything we need to get a fire going. And I got to send out a quick shout out to my good friend Ron Harrington, who sent this in the mail to me some while back in the middle of winter. Winters can be mighty long up here at West Fork. Burning several cords of wood every year. Just the days just kind of roll on, and you can get cabin fever pretty easy. When this little baby came, it was all wrapped up in its box, and Ron wrote me a nice little note. Wow, it really cheered me up. Great little gift. And Ron went to the trouble to weave up a really beautiful kangaroo leather lanyard. It's just gorgeous. And but today, for the purposes of the video, I untied one of his Turk's heads, and I was able to attach just a regular piece of paracord to this, which would be super functional for a bow drill. And it fits right in here, and you never even know it's there. Anyway, thank you, Ron. I'm going to let you know when I get this video put out, and we'll see what this little knife can do. You might be wondering why I come down to the creek if I want to get a fire started. Seemed like everything in here would be wet. We live in kind of highland, almost a high desert. There's a lot of trees here, but we only get 17 inches of rain a year. But the reason I come down here is because one of my favorite bow drill materials is alder. That's what this is right here, these gray trunks here. This is called mountain alder or gray alder. I'm not sure of the species exactly, but the genus is Almus, and that's the alder genus. There are over 35 species of alder in the northern hemisphere, and they extend down to the west coast of South America. So it's a genus that's widespread and available. So you need to find out where the alders are near you, because it's a very useful fire building material. So they like wet areas. Here in our region, alder only tends to grow in creek bottoms or in swampy areas. In other regions, it might have higher rainfall every year, and there's some other alders that grow in those areas too. So like on the west coast of the United States, there's red alder and Sitka alder. But anyway, it's a softer hardwood, and the hardness is similar to, well, it's a little harder than aspen, but much softer than birch. So it makes a good bow drill fire. I'm going to get you a close-up here of the leaves, talk a little bit about that, because it's It's just a great thing to use for fire building. And then we'll get on with our bow drill fire. Okay, if you're not familiar with alder, here's a close-up of the spring leaves. Looks similar to hornbeam. Alder's in the birch family. The Alnus genus consists of over 35 species. They all look very similar. This one's more of a clumping form. You get in red alder, European alder. I think they, well, I can't speak to European alder, but red alder tends to be more of a single stem specimen. These are monoecious, meaning you have male and female on the same tree. Have long catkins that come out in the spring in the little tiny brown cones. Anyway, let's get started. I'll find some of this alder that's nice and dry. Well, just offhand, this little dead hanging branch looks pretty tempting. Looking for something we can use for a spindle. We'll just give that a shot. There's a nice piece there. It's got a little curve to it. I'm going to look around a little bit more. Okay, I did find a nice straight piece here. I think I'm going to break it right about there. Got some raindrops coming down. See, I reached into my pocket looking for my knife. So anyhow, I'm going to try to process this down as quickly as I can and try to beat the rain. If all else fails, I'll grab my materials and we'll take cover up there in some of the taller trees. This looks like a pretty good piece here for a spindle. Well, it's working really good. It's a good sharp knife. It came sharp. This wasn't intended to be a speed test, but I got to keep moving because there's thunder showers predicted today and it's already starting to sprinkle. Yeah. I don't know. I think I'll cut that shorter. Nice round section here. Nip that point off a little bit. True it up. I don't know, that looks pretty good. I think that'll get the job done. Spindle complete. I'm going to look for an easy hearthboard. Okay, we have this piece here. Looks pretty good. I think I'm going to give it a shot. Still pretty stout. This piece, that'll work great. I'm going to use that to keep it flat. I'll carve it flat across the top. Just knife's working great. It's starting to really rain here. I think that'll do it. Put a little hole in here and I'm gonna go take cover. I gotta go find a spot to get out of the rain. So stay tuned, I'll see if I can find an area. I don't have any gear with me today. No shelter. All right, found me a nice leaning tree here. It's kind of seeking light and all the boughs are over my head. I can feel a couple little sprinkles coming down, but this is pretty dry. Should be good enough to get this, the details taken care of. I think our spindle's finished. Let's see here. Yeah, I think that's good enough. And then our hearthboard, I think that'll work too. I'm not going to cut the back side because it's just a lot of work. That this little branch here will keep it from rolling around, so should lock into place pretty well. So I think the hearthboard's good to go. Feels real dry still, so I'm going to keep it right under this tree. And before I left the creek, I grabbed this piece of birch here. It's a birch sapling. I'm just going to make a bow out of that. And I've left this little twig on there because my string might be too long and it might give me something to tie to. So there's already a little notch here, so I'm just going to make it a little deeper. Fancy that. Okay, I got a notch there and I got a notch there, so it's time to disassemble my lanyard. They gave you this nice little clip here, which I'm going to put into my deepest pocket because I don't want to lose it. Well, the old knife's done good. We haven't gathered any materials yet. We might need a little tinder. I might try to find some dry tinder before it rains anymore. That'd be a good idea. Okay, friends, just trying to stay dry under this tree. Went under some other trees. I found one that was dripping with pitch, and there's some grass growing under. And some of this grass has pitch in it. Perfect. Should be good for a tinder bundle. My spindle's getting wet, but I think it'll dry. My bow's a little bit stiff, but I don't want to get any wetter. I don't even have a coat with me. So I intentionally came out here fairly naked. And there's a hearthboard. I got the hearthboard started. And I'm going to set you guys up close and let you watch the smoke show. Hopefully we'll get some smoke. Now just so you can see how wet it is. Everything on the ground is wet. All the grass is wet except for under the trunks of the trees, the biggest trees. Anyway, we will have some humidity to overcome. Right here, on this little ledge, there's some dried twigs here. Probably not going to get a chance to start much of a fire. This isn't the perfect spot, but yeah. You get a small fire going here without hurting anything. Oh, that looks pretty good. See if we can train this little guy to, yeah, push it down to the stone. Okay, I got this bearing block down by the creek. It's really raining down there. But I found a piece that I think solid enough. It was submerged. I think they call that sinker wood. But anyway, let's take the, found a little knot here. I'm going to take the Minimalist and just ream that out a little bit. Seems to be pretty hard down in that little knot hole. I like the minimalist better when it has a lanyard, but for now I'm just keeping it in the side pocket of my breeches. Anyway, I'm going to start bowing before it gets so wet. I'm afraid I might fail. So anyway, I'll give you a quick shot of the mountain there so you can see how the weather's falling apart. Not sure if you can tell or not. Well, it's real dark over that way. Getting kind of misty and pretty rainy. Bad camera angle. I got the tripod set up for the bow drill, so let's get on it. All right. In these conditions, I'd be happy if we got a little bit of smoke. We're kind of confined under this tree. There's not a lot of room for bowing. So we're just going to see how that plays out. Because, yeah, try to get a long stroke if I can. Let's get started. I trust this alder. It's pretty good stuff. Well, another thing I don't have is a little piece of bark, but I will come up with that. Yeah, this is going to be a challenge. Tucked back in here. That's pretty good. Well, rain seemed to let up, so that might buy us a little time because I've been goofing around here trying to get this thing situated. Starting to freeze to death and stuff like that. That feels pretty good, but not the way I like it, especially. We'll see if we can get it burned in. Well, that piece of birch was too thick and too stiff. So I went down and I found by the creek this red osier dogwood. It's a thinner, more flexible bow, and I made it shorter. And I also scored a little piece of red birch bark. So we got a place to catch an ember if one occurs. Stay tuned. We're going to give it a try now. Looking good. Well, it started to burn in pretty good. So one thing I learned about this little minimalist is the blade thins out real nice right toward the tip there. I don't know if you can see that, but it's pretty thick in the spine, but out toward the tip where you need to do some detail carving, it's nice and thin. Anyway, just try to get a V-notch in here. Yeah, this thing works pretty good. I mean, I am wishing I had a little bigger knife at times, but it makes a nice necklace. I can tell you right now, if I was out here in November and it was raining and snowing, I would be carrying more clothing. I'd be carrying some gear for one thing, but this fire would take on a whole new meaning. This fire that we're trying to get started here. You do have to be careful with this little knife because your normal knife grips are a little unorthodox with such a small blade. But anyway, it is sure getting the job done. That's probably the worst notch I've ever carved. But let's just find out if it works or not. That's what matters. See if we can burn this thing in. I'm going to carve that out a little bit thinner in here. A little bit too thick. Oh yeah. This alder, this mountain alder, most of the alders I've ever dealt with are real nice carving wood. It's pretty. This is a little curly here, but if you get a nice straight piece, he carves pretty nice. Yeah, we'll just see if that'll work. I think so. Pile up some, propping my stick up here. Trying to keep knife work to a minimum because we're using the minimalist. Might as well conserve. But yeah, I'm having a heck of a time with the restriction of movement here. Just trying to make the best of it. A lot of the trees in this area have died, and there's nothing there but a skeleton for a canopy. And this one here is nice and bushy, so I'm really trying to stay dry. All right, I'm just gonna see if I can make fire. Got a little bit of a alley to bow in here. Starting to smoke. Let it dry out a little bit. It's pretty damp. Let it dry out a little bit. Everything got wet. That seems better. Yeah, looks better. Oh man. Oh man, not quite there yet. Yep. I don't know. We might have done it. Holy cow. There's nothing in there. It's not burning hot enough. Okay, well that was a fail. And I think what I did is I cut the notch on that way too wide. Anyway, I wasn't used to that knife and I got carried away. And I think this one's going to be a little better. So I'm hoping that'll heat up a little bit faster. Get that dust smoking. I'm willing to keep, as long as you guys are willing to watch, I'm willing to keep bowing. So hopefully we'll get some flame here. You know, if nothing else, this is good practice because it's obvious I'm pretty much out of my league today. I do always carry an alternate fire starter, so bow drill is good to know, just in case something bad happens. Besides that, I enjoy it. Brings out my inner caveman. The alder heats up pretty fast. I don't know what characteristic allows that, but starts smoking almost right away. I really like it. And this wet bearing block submerged in the creek is working out pretty good. It's not getting warm at all in my hand. Getting some dust. I think we're getting some pretty intense heat now. Whew. It appears like it. Oh, let's see what we got. Yeah, I think we got something. It's a little slow, so we're going to let it coalesce a little bit. But yeah. There it is. Yeah. There we go. I'm going to move this over here. I think before we do, I'll grab a little bit of kindling. Oh yeah, it's a beauty. This hasn't been the easiest fire in the world. Well, we don't even have a fire yet, but not the easiest ember in the world. Ooh, hot, hot. Fire. Well, there you go, friends. A few challenges there, but it was fun. And I enjoyed having that little knife around my neck, and tell you what, that's a good little combo. Some parachute cord and Columbia River, a knife and tool, CRKT Minimalist. In the rain. Well, we did find a dry spot, but that's the kind of thing you got to do. You got to roll with the punches. Thanks for tuning in today. God bless you. We'll see you on the next video. Stay safe, friends. This is West Fork, over and out. Did I say thanks to Ron? My friend Ron Harrington. Thanks a lot, buddy. It's perfect. I wouldn't take this sucker to a knife fight, but you can build a fire with it. Hope you're doing well, my friend.